All right, so 6.2 and 3 is all about factoring trinomials. So real quick review, a binomial only has two terms, okay? A trinomial, what we're going to be looking at factoring, has three terms, okay? And then they both fall underneath the category of what a polynomial is. So a polynomial has one or more terms. So a trinomial is a polynomial, okay? Quick review, to factor means that we write the polynomial as multiplication of smaller polynomials. So quick review, again, in order to multiply these two things together, we multiplied x, or 5x times x, and then 5x plus 3. And then we did 2x times x and 2 times x and 2 times 3. So that's how we got this 5x squared. And then when we multiplied 5x times 3, we got 15x. And then when we multiplied 2 times x, we got 2x. And then 2 times 3 gave us the 6. Okay. And in order to get this 17x, we actually added those two things together, right? So over here, we multiplied x times x, which gave us the x squared. We multiplied x times 5, which gave us the 5x. The 2 times x, which gave us the 2x. And the 2 times 5, which gave us the 10. And so when we added or combined like terms, there was only one x squared, there was only one constant, but we had to add together the 5 plus the 2x to get that 7x. So it's very important to remember that factoring goes backwards. So we're going to start with the answer and we're going to try and get our two factors, okay? We're going to start with the polynomial, we're going to break it down into two separate polynomials, okay? So, to factor a trinomial into two binomials, there's a lot of different ways you can do it, but the way that college prep teaches is we call it the AC method, or the magic number method, okay? So the very first thing that you have to do, like beyond a shadow of a doubt, is look for the greatest common factor first. Because if there is a greatest common factor, you absolutely need to factor it out. Otherwise, your answer will be wrong. Okay? Find your magic number. So in order to find the magic number, we actually have to multiply A times C. Okay? So we're going to take the first coefficient in front of the x squared, or whatever number is squared, and we're going to take the last number and we're going to multiply them together. Okay? Then we're going to find two numbers that multiply to your number and add to B. Okay? One way that we can find these numbers is we can go to y equals, okay, and then we'll type in our A times C, whatever that is, divided by x, and look at the table. Okay, and I will show you how to do that when we get to the examples. Okay, so two numbers that multiply to your magic number and add to the number in the middle. Okay, you're going to write down each pair of factors that multiply to give your magic number. So this is also super important. I wish more people paid attention to this one. This special note right here. Okay, if your last term is positive, you are looking for two factors or two numbers that have the same sign as the middle term. Okay. If the last term is negative, you are looking for two factors that have opposite signs. Okay, so when I say same as the middle term, if b is positive, both of your numbers should be positive. If b is negative, both of your numbers should be negative. Okay, if the last term is negative, you are looking for two factors that have opposite signs. So one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. Okay, then we add each pair of factors together to find the pair that adds to give you b. Okay. If the first term of the trinomial is x squared, so if there's no number in front, when the magic number is the same as the last number, then the first term of the parentheses will be x. Okay, so if you don't have a coefficient in front of the x squared, then whatever you found in step 3 is going to go right into these pairs of parentheses. Okay. If there is a leading coefficient and there's a number in front of the x squared, then we rewrite the trinomial by splitting the middle term and using the numbers from step B. Then we factor by grouping. Okay, so this is also important. Let me grab a we rewrite by splitting, then factor by grouping. Okay, obviously I'm going to do examples, so let's go ahead and look at the back, because that's where they all are. Okay, so example number 1, we have x squared plus 7x, minus 7x plus 12. So first thing I'm going to do is the first thing I notice is there's no number in front of the x squared, so I'm going to write the number 1, because there is an understood 1 there. Okay. So I'm going to find the magic number. So 1 times 12 is 12. Okay, so because this is positive, okay, the last term is positive, I'm looking for two numbers that have the same sign as the middle term. So I'm going to look for two negative numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go to y equals, and I'm going to do 12, my magic number, divided by x. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to table. Now I have all the factors of 12, but I'm looking for negative numbers. So I need two negative numbers, so notice I'm scrolling, and we're only focused on the whole numbers, okay? So all of these numbers, if I multiply them, give me positive 12, but I'm looking for the ones that if I add, give me negative 7. So 6 plus negative 2, or negative 6 plus negative 2 is negative 8, and negative 4 plus negative 3 is negative 7. So I found them. So these two numbers right here are going to go inside my parentheses. And because my first number of the original problem is a 1, I can go ahead and write this. Okay, and so I found my numbers. They were negative 4 and negative 3. Okay, so let's look at number 2. Same idea. I have an imaginary 1 here, so let's go ahead and find my magic number. So negative 18. So the last number is negative, so I'm looking for opposite signs. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to go y equals. I'm going to put negative 18 divided by x. And once again, I'm going to look at the table. So two numbers that multiply to negative 18. So we have 1 and negative 18. That's a given. Negative 1 and positive 18. 2 negative 9, positive 2. 3, negative 6, negative 3, positive 6. And we are looking for ones that add to positive 3. So if we're trying to add to positive 3, we know it can't be this one, can't be this one, can't be this one, can't be this one. Okay, 3 plus negative 6 is negative 3, so it can't be this one, positive 3. There we go. So because I know this, when I plug it in here, remember minus 3, x plus 6. There we go. Okay, looking at number 3. All right, so number 3, the first thing I notice is all these numbers are even, which means they can be divided by 2. So I know straight up that my greatest common factor is going to be 2, and I think that's all I can do with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is factor out that greatest common factor. So I'm dividing everything by 2. Okay, so when I factor out the 2, we get x squared plus 5x minus 14. Okay, and so now we're going to focus on the equation in the middle. All right, we're going to put my 1 here, and now we're going to magic number negative 14. Because it's negative, remember when we have a negative sign as our last sign, the 2 comes down, we're looking for 1 negative and 1 positive. Okay, so we're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to negative 14 but add to 5. So all of the factors of 14 or negative 14, so we have 1, negative 14, negative 1, positive 14, 2, negative 7, negative 2, positive 7, and that's it for 14. So we're trying to add to a positive 5. Can't be this one, can't be this one. When I add these together, it's negative 5. So it can't be that one. It's got to be this one. So negative 2, positive 5, or I'm sorry, that should be a 7. Okay. And that's your final answer for that. Okay. So looking at number 4. Greatest common factor, yes. I see it. They all share an x, so that's something I noticed. Greatest common factor. They all share an x, so I know I'm going to divide by x, something x. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Each one of those is divisible by 3. So my greatest common factor is going to be a 3x. So I'm going to put a 3x on the outside. 3x cubed divided by 3x is x squared, minus 15 divided by 3 is 5. X squared divided by x is x, minus 6, the x's cancel. Okay. So, magic number is a negative 6. We want it to add to negative 5. This is another one of those like inside the parentheses. So part of my answer is going to be x plus x minus, because it's negative right here, so they have to be opposite. The greatest common factor hangs out outside, just like that. Okay, we're trying to find 1, -6, but when I add these together, I automatically get -5, so I didn't have to go very far. So +1, -6. Okay. So now, looking at number 5. First thing a lot of people assume looking at number 5 is just that we can automatically factor out a greatest common factor, but unfortunately none of these numbers have anything in common. So the first thing we're going to do, because we have a coefficient in front of the x squared, we're going to go ahead and find that magic number. So 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, and so because, what am I trying to say? So because this last number is positive, we are looking for two factors that have the same sign. Okay, so we want both of our factors to be positive. So 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Okay, so I'm looking for ones that multiply to 12 but add to 8. The only one that adds to 8 are 2 plus 6. So we can't write it like we have been. And the reason why is because we have that 4 hanging out in front and we can't factor it out. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to factor by grouping. So all we're going to do is we're going to bring down that 4x squared, and we're going to rewrite this 8x as a plus 2x and a plus 6x plus 3. Okay, so all we did was we rewrote the 8x as a 2x and a 6x. Okay, can I do that? Absolutely. Okay, so now we're going to factor by grouping. Okay, in my first set of parentheses, both of them are divisible by a 2x. So I end up with 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 2x. So I get 2x plus 1. Okay. And then in my second set of parentheses, both of these are divisible by 3. So I'm going to pull out a positive 3. So 2x plus 1. So my factoring, remember these go in one set of parentheses. So 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 1. All right. So now we're going to look at number 6. There's nothing I can pull out in terms of a greatest common factor, so we're going to go and jump right in and find the magic number. So 6 times 6, or 6 times negative 6 is negative 36. Because this is negative, we're looking for a positive and a negative. Okay, so two numbers that are one's positive, one's negative, that multiplies to negative 36 and adds to negative 5. So we have 1, negative 36, negative 1, positive 36. What is that? 2, negative 18, negative 2, positive 18. 3, negative 12. 4, and negative 9. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right there because I'm looking for one that when I add gives me negative 5. So because my first number is a 6, we're going to rewrite this so we can factor it by grouping. Okay, so we have 6x squared, and then my plus 4x minus 9x minus 6. That should have been blue, but whatever. There we go. Alright, so when we factor by grouping, we'll look at these two and these two. So these are both divisible by 2x. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. X squared divided by x is just x. These x's cancel. Plus 2. Plus 2? Yes. Minus, because remember that first number is negative. They're both divisible by 3. So 3x plus 2. Yeah, so there we go. So we have 2x minus 3 times 3x plus 2. Okay, you're welcome to try the last one on your own.